Ravens Pass, new in town, written. Between where you live and where you've been, there's a town.
Between where you live and where you've been, there is a town.
It lies along the highway and off the beaten path.
It lies along the highway and off the beaten path.
It's in the middle of a forest and in the middle of a desert.
It's in the middle of the forest and in the middle of a desert.
It's on the shore of a lake and along a raging river.
It's on the shore of a lake and along a raging river.
It's surrounded by mountains and on the edge of a deadly cliff.
It's surrounded by mountains and on the edge of a deadly cliff.
If you're looking for it, you'll never find it.
If you're looking for it, you will never find it.
But if you're lost,
But if you're lost,
it'll appear on your path.
it will appear on your path.
The town is Ravens Pass,
It's a river.
and you might never leave.
You might never leave.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Bully.
Bully.
Andy Denby used the back of his
The
hand
back of his hand.
to wipe the mud out of his eyes.
Out of his eyes.
He didn't bother clearing the mud
Didn't bother clearing the mud
from his ears just yet.
his ears just yet.
It helped to muffle the laughter of the three
Laughter of the three
boys standing over him.
standing over him.
He felt around for his glasses
For his glasses.
and found them nearby. They were pretty bent, but he managed to get
But he managed to get
them on.
them.
"Are you done?"
Are you not?
he asked.
He asked.
He rolled onto his side in the mud puddle and looked up at Gary Burke.
Gary Burke.
Gary was the lead bully.
Gary was the lead bully.
Gary chuckled once,
Gary chuckled once.
then he snarled.
Then he snarled.
"For now,"
For
he
now,
said.
he
"But
said,
we'll see you again
But we'll see you again
real soon."
real soon.
The other two goons
The two
laughed.
goons laughed.
Then all three bullies
Then all
walked
three
off.
bullies walked off.
Andy got to his feet,
Andy got to his feet.
found his books in the trash can
He found his books in the trash can
nearby.
nearby.
He cleaned them as best he
He cleaned them as best
could
as he
and
could.
slipped them back into his
Slipped
book
them
bag.
to his book bag.
For all of sixth grade, Gary Burke and his friends
Gary Burke and his friend
had picked on Andy and his best and only friend, Scott Stevens. But this summer, Scott's family moved to Ravens Pass, a small town all the way on the other end of the county. Now it was the first day
Now it was the first
of seventh
day
grade,
of seventh
and Andy was the only one left for Gary and his friends to pick on.
to pick on.
It was kind of weird.
Kind of weird.
Gary Burke had moved to Andy's
Had moved to Andy's
town from Ravens Pass a year earlier. Even weirder, Scott and Andy used
Scott and Andy used
to pick on one of Gary's friends,
Gary's friends
Evan, before Gary moved to town. Boy, did Andy regret ever picking on that guy. He was sure Evan was the one who got Gary to pick on them. Andy started walking up the front steps of Blue Sky Middle School. "Well," he muttered, "seventh grade seems a lot like sixth grade so far." The first bell rang through the empty halls. Andy trudged in his muddied shoes toward homeroom. "Except this year," Andy said to himself, "I'm facing Gary Burke on my own." "Here," Andy said in homeroom. He put up his hand and waved vigorously. He'd noticed in the past that sometimes teachers had trouble seeing him if he didn't wave a lot and say "here" as loud as he could. The teacher, Mr. Dunn, smiled at him and nodded. "I see you," he said. "Thank you." Andy felt a slap across the back of his head. "Ow!" he said. "What was that?" Mr. Dunn asked. Nothing," Andy said, rubbing the back of his head. "Sorry." Mr. Dunn went on with the attendance.
attendance.
Andy turned around in his seat. Gary Burke was sitting behind him. "Oh, it's you," Andy said. "Great." "Yup," Gary said. And "Yup," Gary said. "And these are our assigned seats. I'll be sitting behind you all year." He laced his fingers together and cracked his knuckles. Andy faced forward and his shoulders drooped. 7th grade would be a very long year.